Dum da dum da dum da dum da da da. Dum da dum da dum da dum da 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 da.
Alright, this is the final on the Budweiser Race Team combo. This is a model that I built when I was a kid back in the early to mid 70s. And I wanted to build it again especially when I seen that they were coming out with the race hauler truck. I've got another one of these in my stash that I will eventually do the Richard Petty race hauler. That's another one that I didn't build the Petty race hauler, but I still like it a lot, and I wanted to do it. I've already got the car for it and everything. But anyway, let me back up just a little. Like I say, this is the and I'll back to too much. This is for the cancer awareness group build, the Chris Cortel cancer awareness group build, and this is actually for Chris Cortel. The white is for lung cancer and the yellow ribbon is for bone cancer, and I've got the ribbon on both sides of the car. The tires up top came with the Mustang, and the Mustang is the Trojan horse Mustang. And the truck is, as I said, is the race hauler, the Ford race hauler kit. These are the ramps that go on the back. The decals are most of the decals are printed, by me. The grill decal on the car, the sponsor logos, and the tail lights on the back. Those are kit supplied decals. I'll get it out in a minute. But all the red and blue striping that you see, the Budweiser logos and everything, all those were printed by me. The decals on the car turned out really good. The decals on the truck, not so good. They, there are some of the decals, like the one on the side here and one going across above the cab there. Those turned out great, and these others turned out pretty good, except for where there's joints. I put micro sol on it, micro set to get the decals on, and then micro sol to soften them up so they would go into the crevices and over the door handles and stuff. And I went in and I took my hobby knife and I split where the door handles were so they would suck down in and around them, and they turned out okay. Yeah, they're not the greatest, they're not the worst in the world, but they're not the greatest either. But it's something that I can live with. Let's see if I can do a little different here. There we go. I think I like that better. But like I say, this is for the Chris Cortel Cancer Awareness Group build. The white paint is Krylon gloss white, and it's just used various paints on it. And I'll take the car off the truck in just a few minutes and do a show on it. But the hood, I didn't have very many issues with this at all. With the car, there was a couple of issues, and I'll point those out. And with the truck, there was a couple of issues. One, when I put the exhaust pipes on, the exhaust pipes do not match up with the exhaust headers. Do not. And I had a little trouble getting the pipes in behind the cab because the cab and the bed were so close. I literally had to just pull them apart and wedge them in there and connect them. They are connected to the mufflers and pipes and stuff underneath. It's just that the like I say, the exhaust headers are not, they don't match up. I don't know if I had that trouble when I did the kit before or not. I just don't remember. And the second thing that I had an issue with is there's no support whatsoever in here. When you set the hood of the truck on there, if you don't do something about it, it just falls up. There's no hinge mechanism so it can flip open. What I ended up doing was taking some blue tack and putting underneath the hood here and along the windshield. And I'll go ahead and very carefully take this off. See the blue tack up in here, and then the blue tack along the windshield there. But everything else went together pretty good. You know, it's not your typical AMT truck kit where you have, you know, issues with it. You know, a lot of you guys that have built the AMT tractor trailers, you know that they have poor fit, but this went together fairly well. One thing I did that I don't normally do, and that's put the radiator hose on it. I didn't put the bottom radiator hose on, but I put the top hose on. Let me get this set back in here. There we go. And I hate that I guess I could have, went in and made a hinge for that, but that's not something I do. I don't do a whole lot of scratch building on stuff like that. Trying to think what else. So the interior is painted with khaki brown, 3D printed. I don't know if you watched the last video or not, but I 3D printed a couple of captain's chairs to go in there because I just didn't like the stock seats. So give me just a minute and I will pull the car off the truck and give that a look-see. So hang on. Okay, now the issue that I had with the car, for the most part the car went together pretty good. There was only a couple of issues with the body. That I had to modify the parts. One was, and I got the body sitting in there correctly, because if I didn't have the body right, it wouldn't sit down over the wheels. So where the steering mechanism is under here, this aluminum, you barely can make it out, the aluminum pan that's in here, I had to cut a notch on this side and on the other side. Not so much on the other side, but I notched it out to give it a little more room anyway. But I had to notch out that pan so the body would sit down over the steering arm, the bracket for the steering. And then the second thing is, when I put the body down, the blower belt was hitting the front of the, see where I notched it out right here, the blower belt was hitting the underside of the body and wouldn't let the engine sit down. So what I ended up doing was just notching this out for the blower belt, and now it sits down, it sits down pretty good. And you can see in there, sorry guys, I keep yawning. The engine, I didn't do anything spectacular to the engine. I didn't wire it or anything. The headers, kind of wish I'd went through and drilled out the holes, but things like this are getting a little too small for me, so I didn't bother drilling out the holes there. Let's see. Oh, and I did lose one part. It was there until I started doing the work trying to get the hood or the top of the car to sit down, where I had to notch that out, and I lost the butterflies out of the blower intake. Where they went to, I have no clue. I've looked in the floor, I've looked all on my desk here. I have no clue where they went to. But anyway, like I say, I printed up the moon eyes for the car. because that's what was on it. So I think overall it turned out pretty good. It's acceptable by me. I enjoyed building it. Really enjoyed building something from my childhood. I tend to look at that and plan for things like that a lot more here in the recently. So the Budweiser emblem on the back window, that was the way it was back in the early 70s. And I think that's about it. I don't know what else to say, but overall had a good time with it. Truck was starting to fight me at the end of the build and was getting a little frustrating. The pipe's not lining up, and the hood that was starting to get under my skin, but got it lined out. So that's it. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching, and thanks for commenting. And so I will just catch you next time. So take care.